This podcast is part of the Everyday Heroes Podcast Network, the network for first responders and those who support them.
Disclaimer. All views expressed on What Makes Us Fire are solely those of the person or persons giving them. What Makes Us Fire does not represent or claim to represent any particular city or fire department, and therefore make the claim that all views and standpoints are affiliated with What Makes Us Fire and with What Makes Us Fire only. Any mention of certain fire departments or cities within the interviews are solely for informational and opinion-based dialogue. In short, if you have a problem with what's published, just say something about it and don't be a Richard.
What is up, What Makes Us Fire family? This is Josh, your host of the What Makes Us Fire podcast, founder of What Makes Us Fire Foundation. Thank you for joining us on the show today. Before I get started, I just want to give a huge shout out to SongMe, brand new app out there. If you haven't heard of it, go check it out. You ever been at a concert, ever been at a live music show, and you wanted them to play something in particular? Well, SongMe allows you to request a song live in person right then and there. It's like a live jukebox. You put in your request from the songs available from that artist. You can tip them, and it is amazing. Artists, this is something new. No more tip jars at the front of the stage. Now you just let everybody know you're on SongMe. They can see the list of songs that you know how to play, you want to play, and they can request them and tip you. And the higher the tip, the higher the song goes. So again, go check out SongMe. They are working with the What Makes Us Fire Foundation and helping us figure out some ways in fundraising for the nonprofit. So we can't thank them enough. I want to give a little bit of a teaser. We do have something planned November 11th and 12th in Webb City, Missouri, which is basically a suburb of Joplin, Missouri. And we are having how do I say this? We're having a concert series. And it's going to be the first show within this concert series. And we are calling it Breaking the Silence Concert Series. If you want to learn a little bit more about what's going on, you want to get your VIP tickets. It's a 2-day event. November 11th, we are having a meet and greet with live music, dancing, drinking, responsibly, of course, and having a good time meeting a bunch of artists, social media creators, and What Makes Us Fire. That VIP ticket will also get you into a special location on the 12th where we will be having an all-day music festival, and you have your own section where you can check out the show all day. There'll be vendors, there'll be food vendors. It's going to be an amazing experience. All proceeds are going to be split between the What Makes Us Fire Foundation and Webb City towards their fire departments, EMS departments, police departments, and military that they have out there, like the VFW and stuff. So come out, enjoy, have fun. We are looking for this to be a huge event. Tickets right now are not on sale. They're not on sale, but it is happening again, November 11th and 12th. Mark your calendars. Keep an eye on the website, whatmakesusfire.org. Under that events tab, you will see it there. It has its own webpage, and you'll be able to see all the artists that are going to be playing. You're going to be able to see the sponsors that we have, and any new updated news you can see there. All right. Now that I'm done with all that, and if you couldn't tell, I was a little bit hesitant and sounded a little, spotty. It's because I'm a little bit nervous about this huge event we got going on. I can't wait for it, but it's a lot of work. Webb City is amazing for working with the What Makes Us Fire Foundation, and I can't thank the people behind the scenes enough for helping me out with this and making it happen. My guest today, Mr. James. You guys know him better as Chief Nitro. Now, some of you might know him from his Instagram, where it's a little bit saucy. And some of you might know him from other social media like TikTok and the Cheer Choice Awards, Spread the Cheer USA. This man has been through the ringer in life. However, while he's been through that ringer, he's been sharing every moment with his family, his social media family. And he does this in hopes that he can show that even though life can knock you down, you can still strive to be that better person. Chief Nitro is a veteran, naval veteran, and he misses it. Let's just say that. He misses it. And you can hear that in the story that he's about to tell you. So without further ado, without spilling too much more beans, please, What Makes Us Fire family, help me welcome my friend James, better known as Chief Nitro. I know you're concerned about the time length and everything.
Yeah.
But don't be.
Okay.
Like, trust me, you're going to have plenty to talk about, plenty to say, and it's going to be, I like to pry, if you don't mind. And, okay, so, like, I don't ask on the surface questions. I'm not going to be like, so how'd you feel about that? Great. All right, let's move on. No, it goes a little bit deeper than that. But,
gotcha.
Yeah, man, if you want to grab a drink, if you want to get up and go take a piss, it's free flow, man. We're just having a conversation.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. What, you drinking bourbon?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
edit that out.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to edit it out. I don't mind. Yeah. No.
What kind is that?
It's just some JMO. It's whiskey.
My son-in-law, he drinks bourbon. He loves freaking Blanton's. Like that's his go-to.
Blanton's? See, so this is Irish whiskey. It's just JMO, but I do have some scotch in there that I cannot wait to pop open. It's like Highland. It's like a Viking Highlands scotch, and I haven't popped it yet, and I've never tried it, but the bottle looks really cool.
Yeah, he likes because the bottle's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now he goes. So we have to because we're in Alabama. They only allocate so much alcohol, and so every month he goes. And I don't know how long it's been since he went, but like when I first moved here, literally moved here that morning at 4:00 in the morning. We're out there. The store it's ABC Liquors, doesn't open until 10. We're out there at 4:00 in the morning sitting. It's like I'm waiting for concert tickets, bro. I'm sitting out there waiting. They come out at like 9:30 and give us playing cards with numbers on it. And that's where we fall in line with the thing. And you can only they give you like a list. You can only get 2 of these. You can get 2 of these, 1 of these, 2 of these, whatever. Like that's it. Like
what?
I have allocated.
I never heard of that. In Alabama, it's like that?
Yeah, it's crazy. So it's all allocated. So we're sitting there waiting, and then finally 10 o'clock rolls around.
No.
We're just store for 30 seconds. You go up, you're like, yeah, I want the Blantons, and I want the whatever the hell other one he got. And that was it. But we waited for 6 hours just for
2 bottles of liquor. No way. And I thought Texas was bad. On Sundays, they don't sell liquor.
And it wasn't just us. Like we were 11th in line, and we got there at 4:00 in the morning. People were there as soon as the store closed. They sat out and were waiting.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Try to be
It's nuts. God. Yeah, that was my first official visit to Alabama. Was at the liquor store at 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah, there's no way. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't like drink a lot or anything, but like if I want to have a drink, I want to be able to know that I can go to the store, pick it up.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
No big deal. Just like a case of beer. The only thing here in Texas is that they on Sundays the liquor stores are closed. Yeah. The only place you can get liquor in Texas on Sundays are at restaurants, but that's because they're
the airport, right? Don't they sell it at the airport too?
They do at the airport, yeah. At the duty free.
Yeah, the duty free. Yeah, because Michelle, she lives in Texas, and she wanted to get Sport. His name's Sport. Some Blantons, but they were all sold out. So. But usually she said that's right on the shelf. I'm like, you kidding me? Yeah. I had to wait 6 hours to get something you just brought on the shelf.
Jesus, no way. That's insane. That's like that.
They only get so much in. Like I said, they only get so much allocated to them, and then people wait around. It's nuts.
Yeah, that is pretty nuts. It's definitely not Vegas, that's for sure.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Well, man, we'll go ahead and kick this off. Welcome to the What Makes Us Fire podcast. Thank you for joining us, man. This has been almost a year in the making, trying to get you on the show.
It's been a while. I've had some issues.
Yeah, you've had life happen, and
yeah, you ain't kidding.
Not the best parts of life.
Right.
So, and we're going to dive into all that. But for everybody listening, if you don't know who this is this man. His name's James, but he is better known as Chief Nitro on social media and with Spread the Cheer USA. I have been trying to get this man on the show, like I said, for the better part of a year. And finally, he's here to share his story a little bit. He knows what we're about. He knows that we're mental health forward and trying to get through life's tragedy is the best way we can, and no better person to talk to on how to keep that positive attitude as best as you can than this man right here. Again, man, thank you for jumping on the show. I
appreciate you having me, man. Thanks. Like I said, I know it's been a long time, but like you said, life happened, and I'm just glad we can finally get it done,
right? So I can stop pestering your ass to get on the show.
Get me on Spotify and Apple. Let's go.
Yeah, well, you will be. You'll be on Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Google, Amazon. Yeah, you'll be on all of them, and on YouTube as well. So nice. You're gonna be your face will be plastered everywhere. So I don't really have a complete format to my show, but I do like to start off asking my guests where they came from. And when I ask that question, where they came from, I mean, like, take us from Little Chief up to Big Chief, where you're at now. Like, what was your childhood like, family life like? And the reason why I like going through the past with my guests is you learn how their thinking developed and how their handling of situations developed through their childhood, through their, teenage years and early adulthood, basically during the time our brains are developing. Right. And that gives our listeners a little bit of perspective as to how and why you think the way you think and stuff like that. So go ahead. It can be as long as short as you want. I might stop and pry and ask a question here and there, but
that's fine.
Yeah. Give us a little bit of a history of Chief Nitro.
All right. So let's see. I was born in Cleveland, Ohio. Obviously, mom, dad, sister. We lived in a mobile home, so a trailer, most of my life. Actually, pretty much all of my life until I joined the Navy. It was a good upbringing. My dad always worked. Like, he was never around. So my mom took care of us, me and my sister. But yeah, I mean, it was good. It was good. I learned my work ethic from my father. Like, everything I do, because my dad, he's I don't even know how old he is now. 70, maybe 69, 70. Like, he's older and he's still working. Like, he's still working, and he does carpet, tile, linoleum, all that stuff.
So he's still doing some.
And he continuously working. So I got my work ethic from him. I used to work with him back in the day during the summer months. I started off at 13 doing that. And then at 15, I actually was part of the union. I went and was an apprentice for that. I was part of Union 509, which is floor installing is what it's called. And so we did that. I did that until I was, how old was I? 17. We did the YMCA in Cleveland. We did, it was Gateway, I think it was Gateway Field or something like that for the Indians. We did all the loges where the Indians used to play, where the Browns played, Richfield Coliseum, all that. So we've done a lot. Cavs, we did the stuff at it used to be called Gund Arena. Mm-hmm. That's what we did. Now I think it's Quicken Loans or whatever. We did a lot of stuff in there. So I was around with my dad a lot, working, doing all that, but I just didn't like it. Like, I became an apprentice and I just didn't like it. I was just like, I got to do something else. And then, so I graduated high school. And then after I graduated high school, I joined the Navy. And the reason I joined the Navy is because my buddy, he was a year ahead of me, and he joined as a nuke. So he was nuclear. Mm-hmm. So we joined a nuke back then. I don't know what it is now, but back then you got a $25,000 bonus. Just to sign up and join. And so he joined, enticing. And then he came home off leave, and he was like, bro, go in the Navy, man. He was like, you get $25,000. They pay for everything. you get in the barracks. He's like, they give you food, they give you your housing, everything. He was like, do it. And so I was like, yeah, I don't know. And then I was 17 at the time, or 18 at the time. And I was like, you know what? I don't know what I want to do. So I started working at Walmart. Right. I graduated high school. I started working at Walmart. Worked at Walmart for a year. And I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Right.
I was like, I got to do something. So then finally, me and my buddy Kenny, we went down and we signed up together. Kenny he was a senior. I was already graduated. He was a senior. So we signed up together, went through the DEP program. Everything was good to go. Kenny failed high school. So he failed the senior. So he had to go to summer school. I think he had to do like 2 more classes or whatever. So he didn't leave when I left. We thought we were going to leave together, do everything together. Yeah, that didn't happen. Kenny stayed back, finished up. And then I left for boot camp. Boot camp was in 1998. June 26, 1998 is when I stepped foot on boot camp. So basically that's when I joined the Navy. 26 June 1998 is when I joined. And then boot camp was in Great Lakes, Illinois. I picked, after boot camp, you pick your rate. I picked hospital corpsman, which is basically like a medic in the Army.
Okay.
Take care of people. That's what we do. And so I picked corpsman. Didn't really know anything about medical. I just wanted to make money is what I always kept thinking was like the long run. Like I could become a doctor, I can make money. And so that's what I wanted to do. In fact, let's back up a little bit. I really want to join the Marine Corps. That's what I really want to join the Marine Corps.
So why not?
So, because I want to do medical. Well, if you know anything about the Marine Corps doesn't have medical. The Navy is the Marine Corps medical. So when I went to the recruiter, I was like, hey, I want to do something medical. And he was like, oh, like, is that you're dead set on medical? I was like, yes, sir, dead set on medical. He was like, well, then you're going to have to go out these doors and go right across that hallway and go into those doors over there. And that was the Navy. And so I went over there and I talked to him. He's like, yeah. He was like, you want to be a Marine? I was like, yeah. He was like, well, if you choose hospital corpsman, I can guarantee you will be with the Marine Corps because you will be the one taking care of them. And I was like, let's do it. So that's why I signed up. And that's how it all started. And then let's see. So from there, obviously boot camp, corpsman, graduated boot camp, went to what's called your A school. So this is where you get taught all your stuff. And my A school was hospital corpsman. So that's how I learned all my medical stuff, anatomy, physiology, like everything about the body I had to learn. I think it was 9 weeks, might've been 8 weeks, eight or 9 weeks. I don't know. I'm a lot older than you and I forget a lot of shit. So
I don't think you're that much older than me.
How old are you?
37.
Yeah, I'm 43. So yeah.
You're 6 years older than me.
That's 7 years old. That's enough. That's enough. That's
you said older. 43, 37 and 43 is 6 years.
It's 6 years.
Yeah, not 7.
Whatever. Whatever. So anyway, so yeah, it might have been 8 weeks. Anyway, so you learn all this stuff about being a medic and corpsman and all this stuff. After you graduate Corps school, then you go to your first duty station. Well, lucky me, and that's my wife and doing her ice. So if you hear that,
that's okay.
Felicia.
Hi, Felicia.
After that, you go to your first duty station. Well, my first duty station, lucky me, was Camp Lejeune. Well, they call it Lejeune, North Carolina. That station with the Marine Corps. I was with Medical Battalion, was my first battalion. Basically, what Medical Battalion does is we go, and anytime the Marines go out in the field or they go on deployment or whatever, we go with them. So we are basically like the behind that of the medical that go with the Marine Corps. So basically we just train. We just continuously train with the Marines. And so we did that. I did that from 99 to 2002. Right. I was in the June 1999, 2002. I deployed out of there. We did what's called a Marine Expeditionary Unit. So what that is you just go with them. Like I said, you go with the Marine Corps on the ship. I was with a amphibious readiness group, which is called ARG, amphibious readiness group. I was on the USS Saipan.
Okay.
And, or actually Austin, excuse me. I was on USS Austin, which is LPD-4. It's decommissioned now. It's an old ass ship. But anyway, we were out there. And I know when you think of like going on deployment, it's basically you're going over to Iraq or Afghanistan. Well, this is way before all that happened. So we're on the ship, we're going over, and we're basically just going to go to all different countries and train with the Marine Corps. You just train to fight, right? Train to fight. That's all we did. And so we go over there. Well, the USS Cole gets hit. If you remember that, in 2000, USS Cole got hit. So we're out in the Atlantic. and we're going over to, I think our first stop was going to be, I think it was Rota, Spain. I think was our first stop was going to be Rota, Spain. So we're out there, we're traveling to Rota, Spain, and next thing you know, USS Cole gets hit. So we're out there doing what they call on the ship Gator squares. So basically you're just circling the Atlantic, waiting until you hear an all clear and you can go. So once USS Cole got hit and they cleaned it all up and did everything they needed to do, then we were good. Then we went to Rota, Spain. And then we hit like 11 other different ports. And it was just, it was amazing. It was amazing. We did training at all these ports. And also we had fun and partied at all these ports. This is before I met Felicia. So this is me sowing my wallet.
No, you're good. I mean? So my father, he retired Navy, like 30 plus years Navy.
Yeah.
I think he retired senior chief.
Okay.
But yeah, no, so I get it. He has similar stories.
Yeah.
On all that.
What was his rate?
Brother, I'd be lying to you if I told you.
Okay.
I'd be lying to you if I told you.
That happens a lot. Like when we're
he didn't share a whole lot with what he did as his job. Now, I do know after he put his time on the ships, he became recruitment for a little bit. Okay. And they set him up in Albuquerque, New Mexico, of all places, to recruit Navy.
Yeah.
Middle of the desert to recruit Navy.
Yeah.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But
you need recruiters everywhere. That's why.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they need them everywhere.
They need them everywhere.
So
okay, all right.
So you're visiting ports, you're tearing it up, you're saying
having a great time, and then obviously when we're not visiting or when we're not out there partying, drinking it up, we are training. So I remember our first one was in Rijeka, I think that's how you say it, Rijeka, Croatia, and basically what we're doing is we were training with the Croatians. So the Marines were showing the Croatians how to shoot an AR, shoot an M4, a 9mm. They had their own Glocks. The Croatians had their own Glocks, which was cool because the safety on the back of the Glock was where your thumb and your finger rest on the handle.
Right.
So that was the safety for those guys. Obviously, our safety is, you pop it up or whatever and hit the button. But theirs was pretty cool. So yeah, so we did training there in Croatia. We caught the mountain on fire, the whole side of the mountain on fire, and that's because we were shooting tracers. I don't know if you know what tracers are, but
yeah, I know exactly what tracers are.
That show when you shoot them at night, they show the light. Well, we caught the thing on fire. Well, Croatia, they didn't have at that time a fire department. They didn't have a fire department. So basically what they had was a bunch of Jeeps with huge those 200-gallon barrels, and they had them with water. All they did was line the Jeeps up, pour the water at the same exact time down the mountain, and it just like flushed out the fire and put it out.
That's actually smart.
I was
that's
like,
a pretty
what?
smart.
I was like, what?
We need to tell those firefighters over there in California how to put a fire out.
Yeah, exactly.
That sounds like a good idea.
It was crazy. I was like, wow, that's awesome. That's pretty awesome. Yeah. So then after Croatia, I don't know where we hit. We hit a bunch of different ports, just doing more training and stuff.
When did you meet? When did you get out and meet Miss Felicia?
So after my deployment, I got back in Christmas of 2000, so almost 2001, and I met Felicia September. Yep, September 2001.
Oh, aren't you proud of yourself? Everybody watching the YouTube show, you literally just saw this huge, proud look on his face that he got right month.
That's right. So I met her in September 2001 after I got back from that deployment. That was my very first deployment. Yeah, I met her on, I don't know if you remember Yahoo Chat, but I met her on Yahoo Chat.
I do remember Yahoo Chat.
So Yahoo Chat
let me guess. ASL.
Yes, exactly. So Yahoo Chat used to have different rooms for like different things that you did. So it'd have like, sports and all that. Well, I met her in, what was it? It was the city, right? I met you because it was Raleigh, Durham, and something else. Anyway, she was in there, and I go in there because I would just.
They need to hear the story.
Why? They need to hear the story.
They've probably heard it like 2 times already.
I don't think he's heard it.
I have not heard it, and there's going to be about 2,000 plus people by the end of the month that probably have never heard it.
They're all going to know. They're all going to know. So anyway, So I'm in the room, Raleigh Durham, and I think locals or some crap like that. I don't know. But she was in there. And I'm scrolling through and I click on it and I see her picture. Now she's beautiful, right? She's beautiful. It's a picture of her and Jonathan, my oldest. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Let's IM her. So me, I don't have a picture on my profile, right? I never had a picture on my profile. So I IM her, and first thing she does is she looks at my age and she was like, you're too young. You're too young. And I was like, okay, well, let me send you a picture. Well, then I had a picture where I literally looked like a Backstreet Boy, dude. I got like Ohio State jersey on. Oh, I got a necklace on. Freaking hair is all freaking puffy and shit. And I'm tan as hell because we used to go to the beach and play volleyball all the time. Think Top Gun, pretty much.
Right.
Go to the beach all the time and play. So I'm all tan. I sent her the picture. And the next thing I get back was like, oh, maybe we can have some fun.
Oh, Miss Alicia.
So it was the picture that did it. It was the picture that did it. And then 6 months later, I asked her dad for her hand in marriage. And
whoa. 6 months later?
Yeah, March 12th, 2002. March 12th, 2002. Yep.
Holy crap.
Yep,
6 months. But you guys have been together for 20 plus years. So that is saying something.
March we hit 20. You
were doing online dating before online dating was a thing.
I was what they call, my buddies used to call me a cyber pimp. That's what they used to call me. A cyber pimp. My boy, Gerald Patton. He named that.
Cyber pimp. Wow.
Cyber pimp. That's what he used to call me.
Jeez. Okay, so you meet her. You're still enlisted.
Still enlisted. I'm an E4 at the time. Yep, I'm an E4 at the time. In Lejeune. We're still in Lejeune. I'm getting ready to leave Lejeune because I've been there almost 3 years. I'm getting ready to leave Lejeune and go to Jacksonville, Florida. Well, I didn't want to. I love this woman. Like, I didn't want to leave her. So that's why I asked her to marry me, because I knew that if we were married, then she has to live with me. And so move with me. So I was like, I was living with you, but then I had to leave to go to Jacksonville, Florida. So I needed her to come with me. So we were married in 2012 of March, and I left in June, right? Yeah, it was June I left. June I left for Jacksonville, Florida. Mm-hmm. And she stayed until the kids got out of school, because we didn't want to pull the kids out of school. They got out of school, obviously, in July. Mm-hmm. So after that, then she moved to Jacksonville, Florida. We were in Jacksonville, Florida for how long we were there? 3 years, right? Yeah, 02 to 05. 02 to 05. That's where Cameron was born. Cameron, he's 19 now, but he was born in Jacksonville, Florida. And then from Jacksonville was good. I worked in labor and delivery, which is crazy. Like, you leave the Marines, you leave one set of big babies, and then you go to Jacksonville, Florida, and then you have to
now you're actually delivering babies. Now you're
dealing with little babies. So I worked there for about a year and a half, and then I got promoted. I'd say promoted. I was still in E4, but I got pushed to be an LPO, which is a leading petty officer for the ICU. So it was a promotion within, not a rating promotion. Or a ranking promotion. But so I was at ICU for another year and a half, and then we left Jacksonville, Florida. Then we went back to Lejeune, right? Yeah, back to Lejeune. And from
thank God she's there right now. Thank God she's there right now, or else this timeline would be all fucked up.
Screwed up.
It'd be all screwed up.
So back to Lejeune, because I love the Marine Corps. I was with the Marine Corps like 14 years out of my 20. 12 to 14 years out of my 20, I was with the Marine Corps, just because I loved it so much. One, I loved just being the person to, because the Marines, once you show that you can be a good corpsman, a good doc is what they call you, Marines will do anything for you. And the corpsmen that are listening, they know, and the Marines that are listening, they know definitely that doc is number one for those guys. So let's see, we're in Lejeune from 05 to 08. I was with Supply Battalion this time. I deployed out of there. I deployed to Iraq, Al-Taqaddum, Iraq. So supply. So basically, I worked with all the different supplies that we would ship out to all the different OARs. So all the different units, all the COBs, all the FOBs, we would ship out all the meds to them. So yeah, that was Iraq. That was 05. Then I deployed again out of there to Iraq again in 07. same unit, same supply battalion, but I was a second class now. I had gotten promoted to second class. So I was in charge of all the people with us. We were there for 9 months. We were out there 9 months. Then we came back. That was in 2008. And then I left in 2008 and we went to Pensacola, Florida. Pensacola, Florida, I worked at the Naval Hospital. That was amazing. Y'all, if you've never been to Pensacola, Florida, you need to go check it out. Pensacola, Florida Pensacola, Florida is awesome. So I was there for 4 years. I deployed out of there back to Afghanistan. Our first time to Afghanistan. We were in Delaram, Afghanistan. This time I was back as a advisor with medical battalion. So I was advisor with medical battalion for that one. And then I deployed again. I was a medical advisor again, so we deployed again with medical battalion. I worked what's called a STP. So it was surgical trauma platoon. So this is where I wouldn't say major PTSD, but this is where a lot of stuff stems from. Mm-hmm. Being over there, had, Marines die in your arms. You had Afghanis come in that are like double amp, triple amp. I'll never forget. This is when it really hit me. But I just kept thinking it's basically, they are a patient. You just got to treat them as a patient. So we had a call. It's 2:00 in the morning. We had a call that a family of 5, I guess the son, who was, I think 10 at the time, I think he was 10. He was trying to make his house warm. It was in the winter. He's trying to make his house warm. So he had gasoline. Poured the gasoline. He was cold. I guess his parents were upstairs. Poured the gasoline on the fire in the hut. So they live in a hut. Well, those huts out there, they're like basically like ovens for those stone ovens for pizza. That's basically what their houses are like. So once he did that, poured the gas on there, it went up into the can. He dropped the can and ran, and it basically just caught the whole house on fire. So they came in, they got the call, they came in. Long story short, mom was pregnant, died. Son died from burn injuries. Dad lived, but was had so many freaking burns all across his body, and the daughter lived. So we lost the mom who was pregnant and the son, and we were able to save the dad and the daughter.
Man,
it was crazy because when they came in on a Chinook. I don't know if you know what a Chinook is, but it's a huge ass helicopter. Came on a Chinook. We had them on. They had him on a stretcher. They brought the stretcher in. I grabbed the little girl, or the little boy who was, 10? I grabbed the little boy, and basically his flesh was just like leaking onto my arm when I put him on the table. Yeah. That was crazy because all I kept thinking was my kids, like my boys. I was like, oh my gosh. We had the chaplain come by. He talked to all of us. But yeah, that was tough. That was one of the main things that really, really hit me is when that happened. Very, very difficult. Very, very difficult.
I don't want to stop you because you're taking a step by step through your military experience, which tells me it's meant a lot to you.
Oh yeah, man. I love the military. I love the military. I think even now I regret getting out. I shouldn't say I regret it. I miss a lot of things. I miss leading and guiding and mentoring my junior sailors to make them successful like I was. I miss that because I know I could have made senior chief. I probably could have even made master chief, but it was just, I didn't want to deploy anymore. That was basically the thing. I didn't want to deploy anymore. I didn't want to leave Felicia home by herself. I figured it was time to get out. Thought I was going to get out and open up a gym. Yeah, that didn't happen because there's so much that goes into that. So, but yeah, no, I loved my time in the military. I learned so much. It was amazing. And I still have friends today from when I met in 1999 that I still talk to. So,
and that's something to say about, working within the civil service realm, and military is the civil service realm. You're a service that serves civilization, your civilization.
That's it.
So, but I want to take it back, man. I'm interested a little bit about the family aspect. Now, you learned your work ethic from your father, you said,
Yes.
And you said you started working with him at a fairly young age, still in high school.
I was 30. Well, I used to go with him every once in a while, like 9 or 10, but literally working with them was every summer from 13 to 17. Yep.
13 to 17. And I was going to ask, but I was like, did you have any parents or any lineage within the military that would have helped you make that decision? No, it was just your buddy telling you 25 grand.
My mom and dad, actually my dad was okay with it. My mom did not want me to join. She was obviously scared. Obviously, you see military and all that. You see freaking Desert Storm and all that stuff. So, my mom was a little hesitant. My dad was okay. My dad was like, he's gonna freaking do his thing. He's gonna, get promoted, and Navy's gonna pay everything. Like,
right.
He's gonna have a job. He's not gonna have to worry about, financial security. Like, he's gonna have everything. So my dad was okay with it. My mom wasn't. And then, like I said, my buddy was like, dude. Well, when you go corpsman, guess what? You don't get a bonus.
Oh, no.
You don't get nothing. I didn't get nothing. I'm saving lives. I don't get nothing.
Were you a little bit disappointed at that?
Oh,
you had to
yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I'm a little interested. Like, what kind of person were you in high school? I mean,
in high school,
did you play football? Were you a jock? Just looking at you? So,
I didn't play in school. Like, I didn't play any sports in school. I'll be honest with you. I didn't play any sports in school. I played sports while I was in the Navy. I was a small kid in school. I had my friends that we would play basketball during like recess or kickball or football or whatever, but I never really played on a sport because I would come home and do my homework and then just go outside and play with my friends. Like, that's all I wanted to do. And a lot of them didn't play sports. So I wasn't really into sports in school. But outside of school, yeah, we always played.
That's interesting because just profiling you, just like if I just looked at you, it'd be like, oh, he was a high school jock.
Yeah.
Like that would be like my first guess.
I was actually a nerd, bro. I was actually a nerd.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
How so?
Just because I wore the glasses. I had the long hair. Like, my parents never wanted to cut my hair. So my hair was real long and goofy looking. When the rat tail was in, I know you remember that time.
Oh, God. You had the rat tail? Oh,
I had the rat tail. I had the rat tail. Yes.
My little brother had the rat tail as well.
Yeah. So that was me. So yeah. So I wore the glasses. I didn't have the greatest teeth. I had crooked teeth during my high school. So, but I mean, I still had friends, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't how it is today where it's nothing but bullying constantly. Back then it was just like, it may have happened, but you really didn't. It's not like today. You know what I'm saying?
Did you ever get in trouble when you were a kid?
I did. I got in trouble. So there was this one time, I'll never forget, this girl, I was in 5th grade.
It's always a girl, man.
It's always a girl. Always a girl. And I didn't like her. She didn't like me, but it was 5th grade. I can't remember I know what I did. The teacher left. The teacher went out. She said, I got to go make a phone call or do something. I can't remember what it was, but she left. My dumb ass got on the desks and was like jumping across the desk. Like, cause I was a class clown too. Mm-hmm. So I was jumping across the desk while the teacher was gone. I heard her come in the door and I just picked the very first desk. I dropped down in the chair and put my head down like this. And she's like, is everything okay? And I was like, yeah. She was like, why are you in that desk? And I was like, oh my God, I don't even know. Right. This girl was like, I know why he's in that desk, Mrs. What was her name? Mrs. Bookbinder. I think it was Bookbinder. Bookman. I know Mrs. Bookman because he was running across the desk. Well, that got me in trouble. That got me in school detention. So I had 5 days in school detention. Well, the girl lived in the same trailer park as me.
Okay.
My buddy came over for that weekend. We were playing. We used to play Nintendo all the time, right? Nintendo was the big thing when it first came out. So we would be playing Ninja Gaiden, I think it was. Ninja Gaiden was the game. So we play that. He's like, dude, let's go do something crazy. I was like, all right. My dad was always working. My mom, she would just be like watching soap operas or whatever. My mom was really into like soap operas at the time. She's like, let's go do something crazy. I'm like, all right. So I go over, he's like, and he tells me, he's like, bro, he's like, you want to get back at, the hell is her name? Brienne, I think. You want to get back at Brienne? I was like, hell yeah, I want to get back at Brienne. And he was like, I dare you to throw a rock through her window. She wasn't home at the time. I dare you to throw a rock through her window. And I was like, pfft. He was like, you ain't got the balls. I was like, okay. I took it, you got rocked it, throw it through the window, bro. And then well, obviously with a trailer park, the neighbor saw me and Brad run. My sister came with me because my sister, she always did everything with me, right? My sister, she liked all my buddies.
Mm-hmm.
So we run, we take off. We're hiding in behind the shed area where my sister gets caught. The neighbor catches my sister, brings her back to the house, tells my mom. My mom, because the trailer park's not that big, my mom, all she had to do was whistle. Like my mom would put her fingers in her mouth and whistle. And once you hear that whistle, that was like, you got to come home. Right. That was like the whistle to come home. She whistled. I heard it. I came home. Neighbor was there. My mom was there. The other neighbor was there. And she was just like, so I got in trouble. With that. That was one of the things that I really got in trouble with. In school, I did get in trouble one time in school. I don't know. They don't do it. Well, I guess they do now. You know, on the packages of bread, well, now they have like those twisty ties.
Right.
I don't know if they still have those little plastic things.
Yeah, I think some of them do.
You put them in your finger and you can flick them.
Right.
And they travel at like excess amount of speed.
Yeah.
We went to, this place was called Giant Eagle. This is up north. It's called Giant Eagle. It was a grocery store. They would have them just in like a little pocket where you can take them out, wrap your bread or whatever. I grabbed a whole thing and put them in my pocket, brought them home, took them to school the next day. We're standing in line. I think it was for lunch. It was for lunch. And again, I'm still pissed at Brienne. So I pull this thing out, I put it in my finger and I flick it at her. She's in front of me, so she doesn't know who it is. I'm flicking at her. Well, one goes off freaking trail and hits the teacher, hits her in her arm. And so it drops right in front of her and she picks it up and she was like, who has these? Nobody would say anything, right? Nobody would say anything. And she was like, okay, nobody wants to say anything. She's like, then y'all are going to get in trouble. She's like, you're going to go to lunch and you're going to come back and you're going to write. Our big thing was states and capitals. If we got in trouble, we had to write like 10, 15, 20 sets of states and capitals. When you're in 4th and 5th grade, bro, you don't want to write nothing. You don't want to write anything. So you had to write the state, you had to write the capital, the state, the capital, all the way down. 50 states, 50 capitals, and depending on how many sets you got. And all she would do was look at it and then throw it in the garbage. So basically all for nothing. Anyway, somebody told on me and she grabbed me and brought me to the principal's office. And the principal, I'll never forget, his name was Mr. Jerka. We used to call him Jerk Off. His name was Mr. Jerka. He called me in and he was like, I need you to show me what you have or those things. And I was like, I don't have any more. And he was like, you don't have any more at all? I was like, no. And he was like, well, how did you get them? And I told him, he was like, oh, so you stole them. He was like, so you're a thief. And I was like, no, I'm not. He was like, did you pay for them? Like he's like, being the principal, right? So I'm like, I didn't pay for them. He's like, so you stole them. He was like, if you tell me where you have them, because I know you have more than one, Mr. Malyuk. I know you have more than one. He was like, there's 5 and 6 on the ground. He was like, you're not going to tell me you don't have more than one. So I was like, okay. So I emptied my pockets, but I had like 50 of them, I think. I emptied my pockets on his desk. And he was like, now show me how it works. And I was like, what? He was like, he had a picture of himself behind his desk. Mm-hmm. He's like, take it, flick it at that picture. I want to see how it works. I didn't want to do it because I knew I was going to try to want to do it. He was like, you do it or you're going to get, back then you can get a whooping. Like they can whoop you. And obviously, 4th, 5th grade, you want to get an ass whooping. So I showed him I showed him, boom, flick it, right? It flicks right off his freaking thing. He's like, he looks at me, he's like, do it again. So I did it again. He was like, you realize you could have poked somebody's eye out or did real damage to their eyes and what, like he just basically just freaking principled me, right? So I got in-school suspension. It was called OR. It was opportunity room is what they called it. So in-school suspension, OR, opportunity room. I was there for like 2 weeks, man. And it was that was your class. Like you would go there in the morning and the teachers would bring you their work and then you just did it. And I did it for 2 weeks. I hated it. It was me and a couple other people. Like it was crazy. Like the teacher who was in there would whittle fucking a wood duck. Like he would sit there and just whittle a wood duck. And if you whittle, it's just like, it was terrible. And like you'd look up and he'd still be doing it. And like he'd look at you and I'm just like, whatever. So that was.
This is seriously the worst you've done when you were a kid? Like seriously?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm asking like, I get stories when I ask that question, man, they're like, yeah, we stole my friend's car. We rolled it over. I was arrested. I used to go drinking and partying all the time.
Honestly, bro, I was afraid of my dad. I never got arrested. So my buddy did have pellet guns, and we would go around and we would shoot out Burger King and McDonald's signs. We did do that, but we never got caught because it was like late at night. Stores were closed.
Right. So you were doing kid shit.
Kid stuff. Yeah. Kid stuff. Yeah.
I was like, I'm thinking here, like, I'm going to get a story like you punched her in her face, and here I am, you're flicking plastic things at her.
Yeah.
Come on.
I was a good kid, man. I was a good kid.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds like it. And it stands to reason, because I mean, without sounding like I'm kissing your ass or anything, you're a good human being now as well. Like you're looked at as a good human being now. So it makes
like I said, I was afraid
sense.
of my father.
What would make you afraid of your father then?
There was one time, I'll never forget. One time, my mom was on the phone. I was a little jerk. My mom was on the phone. I had my sister's baton. I wanted to go somewhere. I can't remember where it was. I think it was the pool. I don't remember, but I had my sister's baton. My mom's on the phone. I think she might be talking to my grandma or somebody. I don't know. And I'm waving the baton in my mom's face, and she's like swatting me to like get out of the way. I'm waving the baton. Well, my dad comes home and I don't hear him. Bro, he picked me up and launched me down the hallway and beat my ass with that baton. And was like, "You will never disrespect your mother ever." He was like, "You're never going to know where I'm at. You're never going to know when I come home from work." He was like, "I will always be around and surprise you." Like, so from then on, I was like, no. And I was only 5.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You put the fear of God in them early on.
He put the fear of God in me. Yeah. No, he did.
Put the fear of God of him early on. I'm pretty sure you're going to.
Yeah. So that pretty much, I never went to jail. I never went to, what is it called? Juvenile. I never did anything like that. I got a speeding ticket when I was 16, but
all right. So I'm going to say this, I'm going to stop asking about your past.
Sorry, at
least about your childhood. No, it's not a Debbie Downer. The cool thing about it is it, like I said before I asked you the question, it gives an idea of where your mindset started, right? And how you became the individual you are today. You can hear it. Like, you can hear it in your stories, the kind of individual you were and why we see the kind of individual you are now. You can hear it in your stories. Like, I flicked plastic things at a girl that got me in trouble. And it's really? That's it? Okay. But you're that type of individual now as well. And it's probably because you're still afraid of your dad.
I'm not afraid of him now.
Let's go back into that military service. Now, when you first jumped into the Navy, right? You are, you're thinking, all right, I'm going to get this $25,000 bonus. You didn't get it, pissed you off. But when you first jumped in, boot camp started, was it anything at all that you thought it would be?
So boot camp was a little different than what I thought. Like the way my buddy was talking, he was like, "Oh man, you just go, they yell at you, and then you're there for 9 weeks." He's like, "You train, you do a lot of testing." He was like, "And then you're good." Well, I'm in there, and dude, it was a lot of physical training. I think that's what made me want to do stuff with being a physical trainer, just because it was nonstop. And then I did get in trouble in boot camp. And I mean, you're going to hear it's nothing major, but like in boot camp, you have to be meticulous. Everything's got to be meticulous. It was called balls to 4 is the watch, right? So it's midnight to 4 in the morning. Mm-hmm. Basically, all you're doing is walking up and down the corridor of where you're at in the barracks, or where you're at. It's called the barracks, but in boot camp, right? All the racks are on left and right side. And you just walk up and down, making sure people aren't trying to leave, trying to escape, whatever. So it's almost time for me to get off watch. You have to put on there, watch completed, no further entries. Because every time you do something, you got to write in the book, right, that you did. Made rounds at fucking whatever, nothing suspicious, nothing happening. Put your initials, and then that's it, right? And at the end, you put watch complete, no further entries, which is NFE, and then you sign it. And then after you sign it, because the next person that comes on goes right below you. So you have to line it. So if it's at an angle, you line it. Well, you got to use a ruler. I was so fucking tired. I didn't use a ruler. I just went straight with my hand. My RDC saw it the next day and was like, he called me Malouk. Like, that's what he called me, Malouk. My last name is Malouk. He called me Malouk. And I questioned him on it. And he was like, in my boot camp, you drop the fucking Y. All right, in my boot camp, so I was like, okay. Well, he put me in IT, which is called intensive training. So I had to go into this area where the other guys got in trouble, guys and girls who got in trouble, whether they talked back to an RDC or didn't do what they were supposed to do or whatever. You go do an intense training and you do an hour of nonstop physical training. Like they just basically just scare the shit out of you because you don't want to go back. Me, I was 100 and I was 6. At that time I was 6 because I'm 6'3". So I was probably about 6'2", 6'3", but I was like I think boot camp I was like 149, 150. So I was.
Oh, you're a tall, lanky dude.
Oh, lank dude, bro, tall and lanky. So that shit hurt, bro. that was terrible.
All because you didn't use a ruler?
Yeah, because you have to.
Man, you are a rebel. I just gotta say, man, you are a rebel. You causing trouble left and right.
That's why I said. The story's gonna get terrible. So yeah, that was the only time I really got in trouble in boot camp. But no, boot camp was it was different. It was different.
What were you expecting going in?
So I was expecting, learning a lot from the Navy. But we learned a lot of that in the delayed entry program. Like I was already aware of what was going to happen in boot camp because I learned it in the delayed entry program. Didn't know that though.
That's right. You signed up when you were 17, right?
Yeah.
That's why you had the delayed entry program.
I was in the delayed entry entry program for an entire year. Yeah, I thought the boot camp was going to be totally different. Well, it wasn't. It was basically I already knew how to march. I already knew like the 12 general orders, 13 general orders, whatever they are now. I don't remember now. But it was general orders. You data dump all that stuff, dude. After you get out of boot camp, you data dump all that stuff because you never really use it. Sailor's Creed, like you learn the Sailor's Creed. I learned that in the delayed entry program. So all that stuff is what they taught you in boot camp. So I was like, damn, this ain't nothing. Like boot camp ain't nothing. And then I got in trouble. I got the IT. And then I was like, okay. But no, boot camp was cool. Man. I mean, you had to eat fast. Like you would go to the chow hall, fucking dark 30 in the morning, and you'd stand in line and you'd wait, you'd get your food, and you only had like literally probably, I think it was 4 minutes to eat your whole entire, Yep.
Damn.
Yeah, it was fast. It was fast. But then it was cool because when you hit your I think 9 weeks. I think it's 9 weeks. When you hit like your 6th week, it's called what is it called? Job. It's like your job week. Like your job week. So they take you all over boot camp and you do different jobs. My job was working with the kennel with the canines. So that was awesome. Yeah, it was awesome. I worked in the kennel with the canine. I mean, I had to pick up their shit and clean out the kennels and feed them. But I mean, as an 18-year-old kid, man, freaking in boot camp and working with dogs, dude.
Hell yeah.
I was like, dude, this is great. Like
this is awesome. Nothing.
Yeah, this is nothing.
I'm interested when you were first deployed, what that was like. What was the idea? Was there any nerves going on or?
Yeah. So when we first got deployed, it was, we had to train first, right? You have to train. I was with what back in the day, it was called FSSG, Forward Service Support Group, what it was called. And then when I deployed, it was MSSG. They changed them all the time. It was Medical Support Service Group. So we went with MSSG. Already knew everything as far as medical. You knew all the supplies and everything, but didn't know what to expect when you got on the ship and when you went over to a port. Because you're going to train. You train like you fight, and fight like you train. But you didn't know. You didn't have any clue what was going to happen. Like
there's nothing like the real thing. Once you get the boots on the ground, it's never exactly like training.
You have no idea. Right. You have no idea. And so, going on the ship and being on the ship, and then because you have to do everything that ship's crew does, right? Because you're part of ship's crew now. So they would have battle stations where they're like battle, and it's all training. It's like battle stations, man your quarters. And like you had to get over there and you had to count and make sure you had all your people, had all your equipment, had everything. And people are running back and through the doors and all kinds of stuff. So you learned a lot about ship life, but then it was just like, okay, this is cool. This ain't bad. Like you couldn't go anywhere. Like you're on a ship. Like once you get done with work, because I worked right there at the clinic. Everyone worked we all took turns working at the clinic. Some worked day shift, some worked night shift in the clinic. And that was basically when you hit port, you'd have the Marines that come in, that are drunk as shit and they need an IV, or you have somebody who slips and falls.
What I want to know is
ladder wells and
how much penicillin did you have to prescribe?
we had a lot of that. We had a lot of that. Marines are stupid. I'm not gonna lie. Marines are amazing, but Marines are stupid. You tell like it literally in our clinic we have a huge box of condoms. Yo, y'all, fellas, take these condoms when you go out on this port. Don't go without a condom, because the girls there, it was literally when you walk off the ship, there was women waiting on the port that would just grab you by your arms and take you off with you because they loved America. America, I love Americans. So you're getting laid in every port, bro, like 2, 3, 4 times, every single port. And we told them, like, take these condoms. Didn't take the condoms. 2 weeks, 3 weeks would go by, boom, they'd have a fucking STD, whether it was genital warts, whether it was, freaking chlamydia, gonorrhea, like, why didn't you fucking glove up, bro? We told you all. So, but Marines are dumb. But like I said, they're also badass mofos, man.
Yeah, they are. And not taking it, but there's a reason why they're badass mofos, because
they're just trained to kill, bro.
Well, they're so dumb. Fear doesn't even comprehend in their brain.
Exactly. They're just trained to kill. Like that's all it is.
Right.
I mean, their dialect is yut and ura and shit like that. That's what Marines do.
All right. We're gonna stop back on the Marines here.
Marines, I love you though. Doc loves you.
No, we love you. We love Marines.
Doc loves you.
Hoorah, crayons.
That's right.
All the other stuff.
Right. We love you.
Now you alluded to, before I cut you off, when you were telling your story, that you did all these deployments. Nothing really major ever truly happened until you went to Afghanistan.
Yeah, Afghanistan was the worst.
And here you are. I was going to ask if you ever saw any type of theater, but I guess when you're in the medical aspect of that is your theater, right?
That is my theater. Yeah.
That is your theater.
Whenever Marines go out, bro, Corpsmen go with them. Yep.
Now, did you ever have to, and you don't have to answer this because I know a lot of times, asking these kind of questions spark up memories that
it triggers a little bit, but it's okay. Go ahead, ask it.
Did you ever have to actually participate in combating against?
Yes.
Okay. And what was that like for you? Because here you are, you're trained to not necessarily, I mean, you are trained to be a combatant, but your main job is to protect your fellow combatants and to treat them, God forbid something were to happen.
Right. So so it's not like I was out there with, my M4 freaking going around and shooting, right? It was, right. We were in what's called, you were doing all the vehicles were in a convoy, right? Called a convoy. So you're convoying back I think we were going either to our fob or to another fob. I can't remember, man. It was a while ago. But we're convoying back. Not the last vehicle, but second to last vehicle gets hit with an IED. Once that happens, bro, you have to jump out. You got to man your thing, dock whoever, and you just got to freaking stand there. And once you hear any shooting anywhere, then you just fire. Like you just fire. And it's because they're in the grass, laying low, whatever, because what an IED does is it catches you off guard, right? Mm-hmm. So once it hits, blows up your vehicle, you're tending to the people in the vehicle doing whatever. And that's what I would do. I would attend to the vehicle, but before I got to the vehicle, I would have to freaking lay down some fire. The Marines would lay down suppressed fire. I would lay down fire. We had 6 corpsmen with us. I was in the third vehicle. The corpsman was in there's 2 corpsmen in the last vehicle because you always want 2 docs in the last vehicle. You always want a doc in the middle and 1 up front. So I think we had 4 or 5 with us. So those 2 got out, attended. I went suppressed fire. They suppressed fire. We went back, and then all of us took care of the Marines. Shattered his legs. So basically double amputee, lost both of his legs. Didn't die. He didn't die because we got to him with, a tourniquet and, saved his life. But yeah, man, it was crazy. She never heard these stories. I've never told these stories. It was crazy. I mean, yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened. And
what does that do to your psyche?
It's just,
here you are, right? You're in a convoy, you probably haven't had a whole lot of action, and all of a sudden, like, what does that do to someone's psyche? Like,
all you think about is
they've been deployed, you've been deployed, nothing's happened, and all of a sudden, fucking world falls apart.
All you think about is taking care of that Marine. That's all you think about. Like, you don't, obviously you think about your life, but you also think about taking care of that Marine. If you don't know, the most decorated in the military for Medal of Honors is corpsman, because all you think about is taking care of your Marine. You're running after your Marine doing whatever, you can get shot. Some corpsmen, even if, like, say they throw a grenade or whatever, some corpsmen even jumped on a grenade to save their Marine. So they would literally take their life, sacrifice their life to save the Marine. And that's what's instilled in us. That's what we're taught. And so all you're taught is to take care of them, So yeah, it's difficult. It definitely messes with your head, because you're ultimately trying to save this person's life. And obviously try to stay alive as well.
Right. So, and well, during training, they always say, make sure you take care of yourself first. Yep. Right. You take care of yourself first, your partner or your crew second, mission third, and fourth is the community. Because if anything were to happen to you, you can't take care of your comrades, and you become part of that liability, right? So it sounds like with corpsmen, that first rule there's a little bit of bending to that first rule of, hey, you guys are trained to, hey, something happens, you're doing everything you possibly can to make sure you take care of that individual.
You'll hear, like, the Marines, because the Marines, they get taught, like, basic life support, right? Mm-hmm. They get taught, like, basic life support. But you'll hear corpsman up. Like, a Marine will yell corpsman up. That means you haul your ass, any means necessary, to get to your Marine to take care of them. Or they yell, doc, corpsman up. We need doc, we need a corpsman, whatever. So you do whatever you can by any means necessary to get over there and take care of that Marine.
So what does that do to your psyche? Like, does it make the job just a little bit more real?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's definitely real. Like, especially when it's happening. Well, because you're out there, you're training, right? You're always consistently training, nonstop training, and then it finally happens, and you're like, oh fuck. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Now this is go time. And you just remember your training, and you just go and do it. And you go and get it done, man.
Was there any second guesses as to what you decided your life path at that point would be once all that happened? Even though, because here you are, you're training for it, right? So yeah, you're ready for, God forbid, something more to happen, but then it does happen. And the realization, like, the really real world, right, not just the training world, happens. Right. And now it's like, oh shit, I was prepared, but I don't know if I was prepared. If that makes sense.
They, obviously you get all the training you can possibly get, but then once it happens, dude, sometimes you're like deer in the headlights. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you're just like, oh fuck, like, what do I do? And then you hear, like, you're just like, oh my God. And then finally you hear corpsman up. And then you just freaking, it just clicks, man. It just clicks.
I understand you. Like, I get what you're saying when that happens, right?
Yeah.
Because for us at the firehouse, we're sitting around, we just made lunch, whatever, we're bullshit. Right. And even on the drive to the call, it's, bullshit. But as soon as we step off that truck, something clicks. They're not Joe Smith or Sally Smith. It's patient 1, patient 2.
That's it.
Let's do the work.
Yep.
And then once everything's said and done, if you can remember most of it, because most of the time you're so trained in doing what you know how to do, you almost forget the steps. You're like, I know I did everything, but I don't really remember the call, because you're trained so much. It's almost like muscle memory. Yeah. Right? You just do it, but it snaps. I like to explain it as we learn how to turn off that human aspect of ourselves a little bit.
basically, and
that
just
sympathy. We're selective psychopaths because we know how to turn on and off that sympathy a little bit.
Right.
And what we're seeing,
basically, like you're immortal and you just do what you got to do to get it done. Like you don't even think about what could happen to you. You just go and you do it.
Yeah. Just walk into a burning building. It doesn't matter if it looks like it's going to collapse or not. You know someone's in there. You're going to go off and do
exactly.
it. You got fire coming. You got gunfire coming down at you. Your job's to take care of that individual. Oh well, I'm going to go do my job.
Yep.
Yeah. I get it. It's hard to explain it to the general population that don't understand that mindset or that click that happens. Like it's the best that I compare it to is like if you've ever driven home and made it home safely and forgot how you got home. Not drunk or anything. You stopped at all the lights. You followed all the rules of traffic, but you were your body's so used to that route. You get home and you're like, whoa, how I don't remember driving home.
That happens a lot when you were driving far distance too. Like when you're on the highway or whatever, like you're at exit marker 105 and then you look up and you're already at freaking like 140 and you're like, damn, how the hell did I get here so fast?
Yeah.
Like you're basically zoned, like tunnel vision.
Exactly. Yeah. Tunnel vision. Tunnel vision's a good way to put it. Tunnel vision with training on how to see, to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Aware.
Yeah.
Right?
No, you cannot get complacent. You have to, nope. Totally understand.
I want to get into kind of what everybody is probably waiting for you to get into. Everybody listening. And, your story of these past couple of years has not been, you haven't been shy about sharing, right?
Yeah,
and
helps me cope.
Well, I think it helps a lot of people with similar situations. And
it brings awareness.
It brings awareness and it brings different types of ways of coping. Like if somebody's going through a similar situation, hey, Chief Nitro is doing it this way. Maybe that'll work for me. Let me try it his way. And the fact that you're so open about the last couple of years of your life and how you and your family have been coping with those things, I think is extremely helpful in getting people to understand that life's tragedies don't have to be just the tragedies, right?
Right.
They don't have to be just that you guys are growing from them, you're learning from them, and you're becoming stronger individuals from them. Let's start with Miss Felicia, because that was the kind of the first big oomph to the gut.
Yeah. So, let's start off when it first started. It was, let's see, she got diagnosed in April, so I think it was probably March timeframe. She had bent down to pick up a coffee cup. She was cleaning up the house. She picked up a coffee cup and she felt some cracking in her back. And so she was like, oh, that does not feel good. And so I was like, okay, well, sit down on the couch, sat her down on the couch, let her rest a little bit, gave her some Motrin. Obviously, Motrin is like candy for Marine Corps. So, it's a great anti-inflammatory. I'm not going to lie.
It is.
So I gave her the Motrin, started to help. So I thought it was just, maybe muscular or whatever. So I gave her the Motrin. It helped her out. And 2 weeks later, we go to this go-kart place with my boys. And we're riding go-karts. And Felicia doesn't even get hit. She didn't even get hit. I think it was just the turning of it. She hurts her back again. And now this time it's real bad. So we're like, oh my gosh. Same thing. Gave her the Motrin. She started to feel a little better. Now Vegas, right? Now we have Vegas. So she comes out to Vegas. And she's a warrior. She's a warrior because she's in pain, right? But she masked it a lot. She didn't tell me, but I could see it. But she said she's fine. She's good. I'm okay. I'm good. I just need my pills. Okay, fine. Got her the pills. We're out in Vegas. She's out there. She's taking pictures. She's talking to everyone. She's dancing with people. She's giving people hugs. So we get back from Vegas, which was absolutely an amazing time. Amazing time. I'm gonna drop a little plug here. We're doing it again, April 2023. Might not be Vegas though. Could be New York City. But just so y'all know, that's my plug. So anyway, we get back from Vegas, and she's still not feeling good. So then she has like her I'm gonna say this, babe. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna say this. Her breasts are fibrocystic breasts anyway, so they're lumpy anyway, right? So,
You're doing it all wrong.
huh?
I was diagnosed before I knew my back was broken and caused by cancer.
Yeah. That's right. She was
I
diagnosed
was diagnosed on April.
April 1st. That's what it was, and then we went to Vegas.
Then you went, I was wondering.
Yeah,
I was just
right.
like, hold on, because we all knew she was
Yeah,
diagnosed.
she all knew you had cancer. That's right. Yeah. See, I told you I'm old, bro. Anyway, so she gets diagnosed on April 1st. We go to Vegas. What was it, April 13th or whatever? We're in Vegas.
Yeah.
We're in Vegas. She's out there, like I said, having a good time with y'all, taking pictures, whatnot. Then we get back and we go see the oncologist. And she was like, how you feeling? And Felicia was like, I don't know. She's like, my back is still a little sore, but she's like, but now it's like radiating down my leg. Like, and we were thinking she overdid it in Vegas, because she's walking around doing everything. And the doctor was like, you know what? You need to go to the ER. She was like, you may have broken your back. And we're like, we look at each other like, you honestly think we don't know if she broke her back? Like she wouldn't be able to walk.
Right.
So we go to the ER. We're in the ER and they take an MRI and sure as shit, she has a broken spine. Like it's literally collapsed. Like she has bone shatters in there. It's like, it's collapsed like 70% or something like that. Like her spine is literally broken in two spots. So she has to wear this freaking brace. It's like this big, she looks like a catcher from a baseball team. It's crazy. And then she has to get surgery. So she gets surgery. It's called a vertebroplasty, where they shoot like cement in where the broken area of her spine is. So they do that. Long story short, she was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. It's metastatic. It's in her bones, her lymph nodes, and obviously in her breasts. So yeah, so we're dealing with that. I'm getting her the best care possible. She's doing everything she possibly can. So
what was it like for you and your family when you guys were delivered that news?
So it was terrible. Like it was the worst information I've ever gotten. It was, I didn't know, because when you hear stage 4, you just like, me being medical, when I hear stage 4, it's like you're in bed, your hair's falling out, you're so sick, you can't do anything, you need help going to the bathroom, like your life's over, right?
Right.
And like that's all I could think about was like, oh my God, when is this going to happen to her? Like when is this going to happen to her? Like it can be tomorrow, but no, there's a lot of, they're evolving every single day with medications and everything. I still think they have a cure. They're just not going to tell you because they'll lose money. But they're evolving so much, and she's doing everything that she can to take her pills and try not to lift heavy things. And so we're just taking it one day at a time, man. The cancer's still there. It ain't going nowhere. It's in her bones.
Right. How are you?
The oncologist doesn't think she'll ever be in remission. So
how did you handle the news? Right. Because so whenever a loved one gets diagnosed with something, there's two people that are affected.
Yeah.
The person who gets diagnosed obviously has a multitude of emotions run through them, questions, concerns, but then you have this loved one over here that their entire, like, you want to take care of this person, but at the same time, you're thinking about all the things that are going to have to happen now. So I'm wondering, on your part, what was that thought process like with
so when I was first told that it was stage 4, it was just like, oh my gosh, like everything just was like I said earlier, like all I thought was like because I was in medical for 20 years. I know what stage 4 is. And so that's all I could think about was like, when is this going to happen to my wife? And I tried to put on a brave face. Like I would not, I cried, but I just didn't do it in front of Felicia. She didn't know. But I either went and took a shower, I would cry, or when I wasn't home, I would cry. I'd post a video on TikTok, just letting everyone know what was going on, because I loved getting the comments back saying everything was going to be okay. There's a lot of different meds. There's a lot of different holistic things you can do. Keep her away from sugar, like all these different things that I got from TikTok in the comments. And that really put me at ease. But yeah, it sucks. It's it's terrible.
Why do you think you were crying? I guess what my question is now, obviously you're crying because your loved one's going to have to go through this, but at the same time, there's a little bit of something that you're going to be having to go through as well.
Yeah. Well, mainly crying. Like I'm here because when I was in the military, I had to take care of, people. It's called medical surge. So anyone who older generation, right? Geriatrics, I had to take care of them. So I had to change out their diapers, or I had to change out their bedpans, and I had to give them their meds, and I had to so I'm used to that. So that stuff, that really doesn't affect me. It's just that I hate seeing her go through what she's going to go through. That's the only thing. Me, I'm okay as far as taking care of her because I can do that, but just seeing her go through that. But yeah, it's just crazy. Like you never think that your wife would be diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer.
I don't think anybody is ready for any loved one to be diagnosed with some type of illness that could possibly lead to a very hard existence. Where are you guys at right now with everything, if you don't mind me asking? So
right now, Felicia, like I said, she's taking Ibrance, which is her pill chemotherapy. She didn't do chemo, like the regular chemo where they go and they sit in there and they do the chemo through a port or whatever. Mm-hmm. She didn't do that. She takes her pills. She gets these shots in her abdomen every 3 months. And basically what that does is it pushes her into menopause because the cancer is estrogen positive. So with her being out of menopause, it will limit it from growing. At least that's what the oncologist is saying. And then the other one is bone strengthening. So she has to put it in her abdomen. It's like this big socket. It's like a freaking Pokemon ball that goes into her abdomen and like shoots out all these freaking things, these receptors that basically help with her bone strengthening. So she takes that. And then obviously she's on morphine for the pain in her back because that's never going to go away. She has joint pain, back pain. So she takes her morphine. And then she has, obviously when you go into menopause, you get the sweats. So she gets the hot flashes and the sweats. So she takes another pill for that. Difluc something, I don't know. So she takes all these pills. She's like a walking pharmacy, but she's doing okay. She has her days where she's really tired and she just has to lay down. She has her days where she's in pain and she just has to, take her pills and relax and not do much. But for the most part, she's doing really good. And like I said, we're just taking it one day at a time.
How are you doing with everything?
I'm good. I'm better. Just because I see how she's a warrior, bro. She's a warrior.
Oh, we've all seen it. I mean, she went out to Vegas this past April, man. Yeah, no, she's a warrior. We all saw it.
She's a warrior. So we're doing good. I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay.
What would you say has helped you through this process with her and her being sick? What would you contribute keeping your sanity to going through all this?
Honestly, being near my daughter is helping out a lot just because, family's everything. So being closer to Lexi, but also I'm not gonna lie, man, social media, man, meeting you, bro. I met you off social media. You know what I'm saying? Like we've met so many amazing people off social media who you never think that you could literally either be on a podcast or meet up with them and get their phone number and do stuff with them on all the time. So definitely social media. Like I said, just the reassurance that my family member went through this as well. There's so many different things that can happen. They're evolving all the time. There's this. Get her this, have her do this. Reach out if you need to reach out. I'm a shoulder to cry on. I'm an ear to listen to. Like everything, man. Like social media has been my, I guess you could say my outlet, if you will. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
it's weird that this thing, social media, TikTok, for a lot of us, is turned into this community of support. It's a support system that developed from kids doing stupid dances. I mean, exactly, it developed from this thing that kids were doing stupid dances to to this huge support system for people that truly give a shit.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Dude, I only joined, honestly, I'm going to tell you why I joined TikTok. I joined it because I made fun of my kid. My kid would literally go on live, and he has more hair than me, but he would go on live and barely not even speak, but just be like mess with his hair and do his little lips and everything.
Hold on. Is that where you get your Instagram videos from?
Yeah, that's where I get my Instagram videos.
That's where you get
So he would do that, and I was like, he's making money off these freaking kids. I was like, I need to do this. I was like, I was just retired. I was like, I need to do this. And so it started, and then I did one video in my uniform, dude. And overnight, obviously not many people were on TikTok at the time. So your shit got pushed out a lot. Mm-hmm. Overnight, I had 50,000 followers the next day. So that just elevated it. And then, of course, we started Nitro Nation, and then started the community. And then, of course, Spread the Cheer came along. And I mean, and now sky's the limit, bro. Now sky's the limit.
And we're going to get to all that because it's very interesting. That's something else as well, because the What Makes Us Fire Foundation, the podcast for me actually started from social media as well. Yeah. Exactly. So, but there's something else that happened this past year, that, again, you were not shy to share. And I truly believe that, again, you sharing your story and your process through all this, you and your families, is beneficial not only for yourself, but for those that are watching and learning from what you're sharing and how you're sharing it. You lost a loved one, and I'm going to let you kind of explain that, but I do have some questions as to, what that has done for and or against your mental health.
Okay. So I was babysitting my grandbaby. She was 2 months, maybe a little older than 2 months. Felicia was at bingo. Felicia loves bingo. She was at bingo. I was watching the Ohio State Buckeye game. I was playing with my grandbaby, and then, I fed her, kept her on my lap for a little bit longer. And then I was like, okay, so she fell asleep. So I put her in her crib, watched football, went in there, checked on her. She was good. Came back out, watched, obviously football is 3.5, 4 hours. Went back in there, checked on her. She was good. Felicia came home. She was still sleeping. Me and Felicia then began to make some videos together on TikTok. She was like, wow, Callie's been sleeping a while. I was like, she has. I was like, she's getting a good night's, because I played with her earlier. We played, and I was like, she's getting a good sleep. So we went in there. Felicia was the first one. Went in there, felt her head, and it was cold. And then turned her over, and she was blue. And I grabbed her from Felicia. I started CPR, did everything I could until the medics got there. But unfortunately, it was just too late. She had died in her sleep. They did an autopsy, and basically it was just SIDS. It was just sudden infant death syndrome. It was the worst. I love that little girl so much. I still love that little girl so much. I always love her. She was on TikTok. I did videos with her on TikTok, just so everyone could see my grandbaby. I wanted the world to see my grandbaby because she's absolutely perfect. So I would do videos with her. But yeah, she passed away November 6th. My birthday was November 7th. So she literally passed the day before my birthday. So my birthday is going to be the hardest birthday from now on. I mean, it's just going to suck. But no, she's in heaven. I know she's in heaven. She definitely smiling down on us. There's so much that reminds me of her everywhere. Ladybugs just she had this outfit where it had ladybugs. And so now every time we see a ladybug, it just reminds me of Callie. Her name was Callie Dior. Yeah, it's designer. We're bougie here. So, but yeah, you'll just go anywhere, do something, and there'll be a ladybug. Where you wouldn't even think a ladybug would show up, a ladybug shows up. Looking out the window, a prism will come inside the house, and you'll see a rainbow, and it's just that's Callie, So it's a lot. Definitely leaned on our family together to get through it. Definitely our faith. Started really going to church. Had to get back into our faith. because we stopped there for a while. But I believe in the power of prayer. Felicia believes in the power of prayer. My whole family does. That's what pretty much helped us. We're not dwelling on the past. We're basically just remembering all the good times that we had with Callie. We have all the videos. I have every single TikTok video. Felicia has all the videos that we did, and we look at them. Felicia looks at them all the time. We just look at them and we'll cry. Felicia will cry. I will cry. But we just remember her. We just remember her, the good times that we had with her. So
the reason why I'm going to ask these questions is because there are people that have similar situations that
so many
that, you know, self-blame comes into play, or had I done this or had I done that, did I do the right thing? You know, it's almost a form of survivor's guilt.
Yeah. No, I have that. I think I still have that, not as much as I did though, but why did I lay her down? Like, why didn't I just keep her out there with me? She could have slept right there on the couch with me. I could have just, been there rubbing on her back while she was sleeping. Why did I have to put her in the crib? Why didn't I check on her more? Why didn't I go in there, instead of waiting 30 minutes? Why didn't I check on her in 10, 15 minutes? Like, why didn't we get her an outlet? Why didn't we put this thing on her foot? Like, all this stuff comes into play. But now I'm a little better. I still think she'd be here if I would have played with her. I know she would be, because I would have just been playing with her. Like, she wouldn't have went to sleep.
Do you think that kind of thought process is beneficial for you or detrimental?
No, it's not. It's because because I put some things on Instagram saying, ask me questions, and somebody asked me that, like, do you feel the blame for your grandbaby? And I was like, I do. Like, honestly, I do, because if I would have just kept her up, Felicia would have came home from bingo. Felicia would have took over. She would still be here. And they always tell me, you can't think like that. You can't. They're like, if it didn't happen that day, it could have happened another day. Maybe. I don't know. It's just tough. It's extremely tough.
It's easy to go with the maybes and the what ifs.
It is.
when the only thing you have it to compare to is what happened.
Right.
And some people have to be very careful with saying, well, it could have happened here, could have happened there. Yeah, but you have to remember what you're measuring that to. And that you're measuring that to what actually happened. So you have to be very careful with, and even you have to be very careful with the what if I did this, what if I did that. I know you're measuring it to what happened because you have nothing else to measure it to.
Yep, that's it.
It's allowing yourself to get to the point of it's what happened. That's the hardest part, right? Is just allowing what happened to be what happened. It's nobody's fault. It was nobody's fault. SIDS, there's a reason why it's called sudden infant death syndrome, because it is sudden. There are no telltale signs. There's still medical, technology today and studies today still have no true answer for it.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things that I can't tell you not to beat yourself up for it. You're you, right? You are that person. And it's easy for me or anybody else being on the outside looking in saying, hey, James, bro, you can't blame yourself for that. You can't do that. You can't. Well, I'm not you. I wasn't in that situation. I don't know. I don't know if maybe I would be blaming myself. Maybe I would. I don't know, because I've never been in that situation. I would like to think that I can be like, I did everything I could. And it just happened. But I mean, you were having a normal night. Like, there was nothing out of the ordinary.
Right. Yeah. Nothing
out of the ordinary. She wasn't showing any signs of anything. Mm-mm. You put her to sleep like you probably have done 100 times before. Yeah. And suddenly, right? Yeah. And the healing process for you, what has that been for you? Or what have you found to be a good healing process for you? You're obviously still, you're still torn up about it, and that's reasonable.
That'll never go away.
That's reasonable.
Yeah. So the big thing is we're getting through it. We'll never get over it. We go and visit her at the gravesite. Just being here closer, because obviously, for those of you who don't know, I lived in California before I moved to Alabama. That's where I retired from. I was stationed in Lemoore, California. When Felicia got diagnosed with breast cancer, we felt it was the right thing to do is move closer to family, because obviously we don't know the timeline. We have no idea. My daughter, my son-in-law, and my grandbaby were in Alabama. So we just felt, we'll just pick up the whole family and we'll move to Alabama. And so that's what we did. My daughter was pregnant, had Callie August 26th. We moved here July 23rd. Stayed with my daughter, had Callie August 26th. She died November 6th. And then, so now being with family is definitely helping with the grieving process. Like just being able to talk about it, just being able to, just be with each other, going to the gravesite, just remembering the good times we had with her. Like I said, we watched the videos. So yeah, that's been the definitely what's helped me and Felicia is being close with our family now.
I'm going to ask a hard question. And the reason why I'm asking this is because some people experience it. Within the family, has there been any animosity and or blame shifted since you were the last one to take care of it?
So early, like a couple days after, my son-in-law came to me and he was like, I forgive you. Like it was my fault, so that hurt. But I understand, like I've never lost a child. So I have no idea what they were thinking, but yeah, he said, I forgive you. And this was even before we even got the autopsy results back, because even the coroner who came that night was like, obviously I wouldn't do anything to my grandbaby, but the coroner was like, yeah, there was no,
foul play,
foul play, whatever. And so, but when he came to me and he's like, Dad, I forgive you. And I was like, I just took back, like, I didn't say anything, but it was just like, wait, but it wasn't my fault, or was it my fault? So a little bit there, but now, no, we're good. We're good now because my daughter's pregnant again with a rainbow baby. And another designer name. This one is London with a Y. The middle name is Chanel. So London Chanel. And she'll be born, it's crazy, but her due date is the week sometime that week that Callie passed. So we believe that her bigger sister sent her down straight from heaven. So she's our rainbow baby, and I cannot wait. And this one's going to be all over TikTok too.
I bet. Where have you found peace of mind now? Because it did take you a little while. Like you shared that process with everybody.
Yeah.
Where and what was it that guided you to take the route you did in your recovery from this tragedy that your family had to go through?
Like I said, I think just being able to talk openly with my family, and then of course putting it out on social media and getting all the feedback, letting them know, or them letting me know it's not your fault, happens all the time. And then, bro, my DMs are flooded. I try to answer everyone back, but my DMs are flooded like, oh my gosh, this happened with me. And I had my baby, a year later, and everything's good. And then they're like, you're not the only one. Don't beat yourself over it. Like so many people that it's happened to. So knowing that, it still hurts, but knowing that it is very, very common, that also helped out. But yeah,
why do you think the idea of not being alone in it helps?
It's just because you get in your head. Mental health patients always get in their head when they don't. One, they're afraid to talk. They're afraid to talk out. I try, and I have all my buddies that I call all the time, and I'm just like, hey, are you good? Like Cali boy, I'll bring him up. I call him all the time. Soldier Solutions, Frank. I call him Frankie. All the time. We always do mental health checks with all my buddies just to make sure that they're good, because they'll say they're good, but they're not good. And so being able to do that, getting the feedback from those people, that's definitely helped me out a lot. Them just reaching out, saying, hey, everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be good. I know what happened. We can't change it. But like I said, we're getting through it, we're not going to get over it. So
I think that's a good way to say it. Getting through it, not getting over it. And you're busting. You're actually.
I'll never get over it.
Well, when you get through it, you're facing it, right?
Yes,
you're
exactly.
facing it. You're facing it when you're getting through it. You're say it's a wall. Instead of going over that wall and pretending like it never existed, here you are actually facing it. You're doing your best to get through that wall. Exactly. And I truly believe that the term getting through it should be the term used and not get over it.
Yep.
Get over it leaves it there. And
exactly. And we're never going to get over it.
Right.
Never going to get over it.
But I do appreciate you allowing me to ask you some of these hard questions and you being open with it, man.
Definitely.
I really, between your military experience and your family experience, you've gone through quite a bit of shit that could break a lot of individuals mentally. And that's going to bring me to a question that, have you ever found yourself in a position of being close to having a mental health issue or mental health breakdown, depression? I mean, you've gone through situations that if you were to tell me, yeah, I got depression or PTSD from these things, I would understand. I get it. I hear you on that, man. How could you not? But you have found a way to either deal with it silently and or been able to deal with it, but openly.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I think with me, I don't deal with it silently. I deal with it openly, and that's what helps. That's what helps. I'm just getting it out there because, like I said, it doesn't just happen to you. It happens to so many others, and just getting their feedback and listening to their stories helps. It puts awareness out there as well. So yeah, no, I've never been on the verge of a mental breakdown. I've never had where suicidal ideations or whatever. I've never had that. I've always learned to deal with it, not hold it in. So I talk a lot, as you can tell. We're almost going on 2 hours. So good job on you. Right?
I told you. I told you.
Yeah. So no, I try not to hold so much in. I mean, there's stuff I have held in. Like Felicia never knew about. Now she knows about the war stories. She never knew those. I never told her, just because I didn't think she needed to know those. But yeah, no, I've never gotten to that point. Now I've had friends that have gotten to that point that I've been there for. And I think that's probably maybe why too, is because I've had friends that have gotten to that point, and I've never want to get to that point. So I will always talk about what's going on, just because I believe that helps me out more.
Would you say even if it was only one person listening, you would still be outspoken?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, man, I would. Honestly, I would. And that person would probably be Felicia.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because, a lot of people that are going through mental health issues, and I went through it, as I kept a lot of it to myself. You have this idea that you don't want to be a burden to anybody. You don't want to bring up anything to anybody. Yep. This is your shit. Why do you feel like you have to share it with other people? And the funny thing is that your shit is so comparable to a whole bunch of other people's that you actually start building a community of support. There's a support community that comes from the sharing of what you're going through.
Right.
And the only way to, and studies have shown, it's actually in therapy studies. I even asked my therapist, hey, what do you think about me sharing my story on social media? And she said, if you're comfortable with it, do it. There's studies that show that the more you talk about it, the easier it is to work through, the easier it is to comprehend. You start thinking about it more logically and not so emotionally. You still have the emotion there, but you have this logical idea. The more you can talk about, you know what? Yeah, it was a normal night. I put her down to sleep. I didn't do anything wrong. Nothing bad happened. God knows, and he's the only one that knows why what happened. And it's not for you to understand. The only thing you need to understand is what happened.
Exactly.
And it's this idea that the more you can say it out loud, and people will listen.
Oh, I
listen.
know. Oh, I know. And that, like I said, that's definitely what helped me is listening, because they have the same story. It's crazy how common, like you never think about it, right? You never think about it. Like you have you hear about it, but you're like, that'll never happen. That'll never happen to us. Like I watch my kid, I make sure my kid's good, like whatever. But then when it does happen and you hear all these stories, you're like, wow. So I'm not the only one, so.
That brings up another question. You said something like, oh, that'll never happen. That'll never happen. Have you gotten any haters from you sharing your stories like this?
I haven't really got any haters. There was a couple videos I did with her where it may have looked like on the video that I wasn't holding her tight or whatever. And they were saying, oh my God, he's shaking that baby around so much or whatever. But that's not the case. Like I had her tight in my arms. My hands are huge, bro. So, but as far as anything saying it's my fault or blaming me, no, I haven't.
That's good. That's good. Because there are some there are some people out there that have experienced stuff like that. And for me, if I had to give advice in dealing with those type of people, is ignore them.
Yeah, I pay no mind to them. Yep.
Yeah, pay no mind to them, because the more you give them the attention, you're giving them exactly what they want.
Yeah, exactly what they want. Yeah.
So
they're miserable in their life and they're just trying to bring you down with them. Yeah. No, I get it.
Well, man, I do want to say thank you for being so candid with your stories and everything else. And I told you we'd be able to talk for almost 2 hours.
Yeah, man.
I told you, and we're not even done yet, because I still have to get into. Now, you did tell us you got onto social media to make fun of your son for being a thirst trapper, which now you are, but You made some connections and now are a part of some really great organizations, and Spread the Cheer USA being one of them.
Yes.
And how did all that come about, and what possessed you to go ahead and go along with it?
So I was on live, just doing my normal live like I do, and Danielle Claudio came in there. And she was like, hey, I need to speak with you. And I didn't know who she was at all. And they were like, she was like, I was given your name. She was like, you really reach a lot of people on social media. She was like, you can help me out. And so after the live, she DM'd me and she was like, hey, I want to do this campaign to raise a lot of money to help families in need for the holidays. She was going through a divorce. She was miserable, but she wanted to do something. She wanted to give back. And so I was like, let's do it. So for the entire month, every time I went live, all I did was push. It was called Spread the Cheer 2020, which was the campaign for Christmas. And we were able to raise with going live for the entire month. And then Scott D. Henry also put out a video saying that he wanted to do something, and he merged it with us. We raised over $15,000, and we helped over 20 different families for the holidays. And then from there, we just we started talking, and she was like, hey, I want to try and make this a nonprofit. And I was like, let's do it. And she was like, would you be my vice president? And I was like, hell yeah. And so she submitted, it got approved about 8 months later, because everything that goes through the government takes forever. It got approved. And then from then on, man, we just hit the ground running. Vegas was just the very first Vegas, we called the Vegas Invasion. It really didn't even have anything to do with Spread the Cheer. But after that, we basically said that we wanted Spread the Cheer to have that, because we could reach more people with it being a nonprofit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had a lot of people there, but it was just three dumbass guys putting together a freaking meetup, which was a charity event. We did raise $25,000 for the paralyzed veterans, but it was just, let's be honest, it was just there to have fun. It was absolutely a big meetup, you know, off of TikTok. So. But no, then we put it over to Spread the Cheer. We did Vegas this year.
Cheer Choice Awards.
Cheer Choice Awards, which was amazing. And what Cheer Choice Awards is, we honor those amazing, positive creators that have made a difference and have given back on social media. And we had it at the MGM Grand. It far exceeded my expectations. It was absolutely amazing. We had Paula Abdul in attendance.
Yeah, Paula Abdul was there. I got to say, I was there in attendance. And if you guys do it again, Vegas or whatever, everybody listening, I highly recommend you looking into the Cheer Choice Awards. It's not only just a meetup, but it is also it's saying thank you to those that are not only giving something on social media, but giving back to their communities. Like, these are huge creators that are making. I was lucky enough to be nominated in 4 different categories and made it to the final round in 4 different categories. I didn't make the final 5, but for being a small creator, the fact it showed what I'm trying to do meant something.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And being out there and showing support for the creators that did make that final 5 and that did end up getting those awards and everything, it's at the end of the day, it's just a trophy, but it's giving some validation to these dreams these people have and making the world a better place. And what you guys are doing is you guys are showing that people deserve some type of validation for what they're doing.
Right.
And even if it's
recognition,
some sort of recognition and validation and being recognized for the fact that, hey, we see you. We see that you are trying to make this world a better place by doing what you're doing. And that's what it was about for me. Meeting friends, seeing you again, Josh, time out with Josh, everybody out there was just, it was amazing. It was amazing.
And ultimately we put it on obviously to, recognize those creators, but also all money made through ticket sales, raffles, auctions, selling of merch, all that goes back to helping families for the holidays. And so that's basically what we're trying to do with any of these events. Like, we have a cruise coming up November next year. Royal Caribbean is the cruise line. Any room that we sell, Royal Caribbean, I can't remember if it was $50 or $75 a room, they will pay to our charity. So then again, all that will go back into helping for Christmas.
Yeah. So if you get a room, know that $75 or $50, $75 is going back. You're making a donation. You're making a donation to a great cause.
Everything's all inclusive. They can find all the information on our website at spreadthecheerusa.org. That's our website. Another plug. Ultimately that's what it is. And the difference between, I can see a lot of these people now in their head, they're like, yeah, but there's so many organizations that do that. But the difference between Spread the Cheer and the other organizations is that we are actually put a personal touch on it. So for Christmas, we actually have volunteers all across the U.S. That have signed up to volunteer with our organization to help bring the presents straight to the family's doorstep. So it's not like we ship it to them and they get it. We actually have people that deliver it straight to them. And then obviously we take videos to put on testimonials, to put on the website. And then, they cry, we cry. Like the first time I did it, I drove all the way to LA. I was in California. I drove all the way to LA and surprised the mom and her 3 children. And it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And now we have so many people that did it. This last Christmas, we helped almost 45 families for Christmas. And so hopefully after the Cheer Choice Awards and everything this year, we are able to double, triple, even quadruple how many families we can help.
Man, and if there's anything that I can do on my end, please let me know, because I'm all for what you guys are doing. I told you that at the beginning. I'm all for what you guys are doing. I'm 100% behind Spread the Cheer, and the fact that you guys have shown support and recognition of What Makes Us Fire means a lot to me as well. So I'm absolutely on board. So where can everybody find you on social media, just so they can go check out your stuff?
So my social media is just Chief Nitro, all of them. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Clapper, I'm on Riff, I'm on all of them.
I do got to ask though, why the different content on Instagram? And I keep giving you shit for it because because honestly, TikTok won't push it. Okay.
TikTok won't push that kind of stuff. They don't push that kind of stuff for me. Instagram, I do fairly well on my stories. I'm not a huge following on Instagram, but I'm trying to get there. I think I'm almost at 20. So once they hit 20K, yeah. But yeah, that's the reason why. And I pushed it on Clapper too. You just don't know because you're not on Clapper. But
I am on Clapper.
Oh, you're on Clapper? Okay, I pushed it on Clapper too.
Oh, okay.
Because Clapper will push it. But all that, why I do that is because all that extra money that I get from that helps with Felicia's stuff. So, and all that helped with Callie's funeral. Bro, when a baby dies, you would think it's not that expensive. Absolutely insane how much a funeral, a plot, and a headstone cost for a baby who was fucking 3 feet long, dude. Insane. But yeah, all that money that we got from the GoFundMe and then my spicy page is because of to help Felicia and pay for that. So
now I didn't mention the spicy page. You did.
I know, but I did in case there's some people who want to check out the spicy page. The link's in my bio.
Links in his bio if you want to see Chief Nitro's spicy page.
Yeah, there you go.
So links in his bio. So go check him out. Follow Chief Nitro on all social media. Just put in Chief Nitro. You'll see him. It's that good looking dude with the salt and pepper beard. You'll see him.
Yeah, that's me.
That's him.
Me.
Well, Matt, I do want to say thank you again for coming on the show. I got 3 more questions for you before I close it off. My first question is, if you can do it all over again, knowing what you know now, would you do anything different?
Let's see. For my time in the Navy, yeah, I'd probably stay in. Honestly, I probably would have stayed in. Just because, like I said, I love mentoring, guiding, and leading junior sailors. That was my passion. Like when I made Chief, like that was like the biggest thing. Like that's all I wanted to do. Like I put in so much work to make Chief just because I led at an E5, I led at an E6, but once you become Chief, bro, it's totally different. You're in one of the biggest fraternities in the entire world because you are a chief. You are a chief, and there's chiefs everywhere. And so that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to lead, guide, and mentor those sailors. As far as my grandbaby, yeah, I wouldn't put her down, dude. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't. If I could do it all over again, I would have kept her awake, just because I felt like it was my fault. Like it was my fault. I'm trying to get past that, but yeah, I would definitely. That's one thing I would definitely change. Nothing I can do with Felicia. That was just out of the blue. For the chair, I would not change. I would continuously do that all over again. But those 2 things, yeah, honestly, I would. I'm not one to lie. I'm not one to say, no, I wouldn't change anything. No, I would. I definitely would.
Yeah, so. And that's honest answer. I've asked that question of a lot of my guests, and a lot of them are like, I know what I went through. It sucked, but I am the person I am today because of it. So no, I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah, no, that's not me, bro.
But that's an honest answer. Like that's what I want. I want the honest answer. Me, would I have changed what I've gone through, or would I have made different decisions? No, because I don't know if those decisions would allow me to be where I'm at now. And I really love where I'm at now. Mm-hmm. Even though I'm going through my shit, even though I'm going through my divorce, I'm living in my RV, I'm having to struggle a little bit, but even though I'm going through that stuff,
yeah.
I wouldn't be here talking to you. I wouldn't be here having a podcast that is getting more and more traction. I wouldn't have a foundation, or I don't know if I would have the foundation to help my fellow brothers and sisters.
I mean, I can definitely see that. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe I wouldn't be with Spread the Cheer if it wasn't, because of that. So yeah, no, I can definitely see that.
See, there's always these what ifs, and I'm not sure.
That's the big thing.
I'm not sure if I would want to gamble where I'm at now.
Yeah.
By changing anything I've gone through in the past.
Makes sense.
So it's kind of like it's up in the air.
That's 22. Yeah.
Yeah. Second question, brother. Do you have any questions for me? It's very simple.
No, bro. No question. Hey, I appreciate you bringing me on. Thank you so much, man. You were right. 2 hours. Didn't think it was going to take. I was like, man, I can't talk for 2 hours, but obviously, I guess I can. You asked some amazing questions, so I appreciate it. And the only question I got for you is, are you going on the cruise?
I'm looking into it.
Okay, so you have until August 15th to put your $100
down. The $100
because if you put the $100 down, that's the price you get. All inclusive is like whatever you pick. So I think the highest is $860 some or whatever. After that, we may be able to extend it out. I don't know though. But just if you're going to go, man, Just don't wait until after August 15th. So what's that? You only got like 10 days or some shit.
Yeah, I only got 10 days.
So
shit.
That's the only question on that.
Oh, you know what? I'll put it in. I'll put it in as soon as we get off. As soon as we stop the recording, I'll go and put in that $100 deposit down.
Yeah, man. I will go.
Yeah. No,
well, I mean, we got Vegas too. I mean, or New York too. So if you go there, I'll see you again there. But I want to see you at every event. So I want to see everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Last question, brother. There's, you're in What Makes Us Fire. A lot of people, they attributed that to the fire symbol and all that other stuff, but that's not really what this is about. The show's more about finding what it is that fire inside people that allows them to do and be the individuals they are. For you, it's this positive person, this person that shares his story, that is trying to help, that does what he does knowing that he's helping someone else.
Yes.
What do you think that is that gives people like you and people that do the civil service? We're doing the job because we know we're helping other people. What is that fire within them? What do you think it is? Because there's a commonality there that we all have.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been able to pinpoint it.
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I think because of what I did in the military as far as a medic and helping my Marines, I think that just trickled over into my civilian life of wanting to help as much as I possibly can. I think that's what it is, honestly, because being able to see a Marine who, gets blown up or whatever, or gets shot or whatever, to make sure that they stay alive is the ultimate goal. And so to help as many families as I possibly can with Spread the Cheer, or to help as many people on social media with mental health or whatever, I'm going to continue to do that. And I think, honestly, that's, and like I said, my dad gave me my work ethic, and I'm just driven from a young age, and that's it.
But what is it that, like, you and I have had different backgrounds, right? And we both have the same type of drive to do the same type of thing. So where did that come from?
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
That's been my question. Is just like, I get there's a bunch of different reasons why people do what they do, especially when it comes to helping others and sacrificing of themselves for others. There's a bunch of different reasons, but there was something before the idea of sacrificing you even just a little bit of your life for other people. There was something before that even allowed us to make the decision to get into either a job that required that of us, or into any type of situation that might require that of us, of sacrificing of ourselves for others. What was that?
Yeah, that's a good ass question. I don't know.
Right. And because if I can find the answer to that thing, that would be something that we could all, rally around.
Yeah.
And build.
No, that's a good ass question. You're going to make me think, dude. Honestly, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I just want to do good. I guess just want to do good, man. Maybe I don't want to go to hell. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah. And, well, for you, that would be great. But what if other people don't care, but they still want to help?
Yeah.
What if they don't care if they go to hell? They just want to help.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, I hear you. No, honestly, I don't know them. Just want to do good, man. That's it.
Well, James, brother, again, thank you for jumping on the show. Thank you for being so candid. Thank you for your answers. Thank you for sharing your stories. God bless you, man. You've been
man, I appreciate you.
Amazing. For everybody, again, go check out spreadthecheerusa.org. Check out Chief Nitro on all the social media. He does have a spicy site. Just all the ladies and or gentlemen. It's there. But yeah, man, thank you so much again. What Makes Us Fire family. Much love. Stay safe. Show some love and peace out in the world. You never know who's going to need it. You never know if you're going to be the one to make the difference. Being that difference feels pretty damn good. Be the change you want to see in the world without allowing the world to dictate how you see that change happen.
That's it. That's all it is, man. That's what it's about, brother.
Be the best version of yourself, and I promise you the world will change around you. Much love to y'all. James, brother, have a good one.
All right, dude. Later, brother.
All right, everybody, that was James, better known as Chief Nitro. I want to thank him again for jumping on the show. Y'all, his story is pretty amazing. You know, he alluded to where he thought his PTSD may have started from and having to deal with that family that was in the fire. But on top of that, he had family issues that kind of chip away at our mental health. And he has found a way to continue to strive on, and that way is to share his story out loud, honest, open, and unapologetically. And that for him has been the thing to keep him sane, to keep him on the path of being healthy. You know, I can't imagine what it's like to have a loved one being diagnosed with cancer, or to have a grandchild taken from you and being the last one to hold her. But he has found a way through that. He has shared his way through that on social media, on the podcast, and just by talking to anybody that, one, is willing to listen, or two, ask. I have found that opening up and sharing your story out loud, openly and honestly, whether anyone's listening or not, is beneficial for my mental health. You know, some people might hear this story and hear how he works through it, hear how I work through it, and they are like, oh, hell no, that ain't the way to do it, because I tried that and it didn't work. And that's fine. If it doesn't work for you, that's fine. But if you've never tried it, and you want that help, and you want to get better, try it. The worst that's going to happen is that it doesn't work. The best that's going to happen is that you start finding a new path on your mental clarity and your mental health. If you find yourself in a spot right now where you're needing help and you need somebody to talk to, the National Suicide Prevention Hotline is 100% free, anonymous, and confidential. Make the call. They also have a separate line for our military and first responder personnel, so you can talk to somebody that kind of gets it. The number is 1-800-273-8255. Again, the number is 1-800-273-8255. Making the call is just not your thing right now. The suicidepreventionlifeline.org website has a multitude of resources that you can read and learn from and reach out to that will help in maybe clarifying some questions that you have about what you're going through. I highly recommend checking that out as well. Don't forget to follow us on social media, everybody. All the social media with @WhatMakesUsFire. Very simple. YouTube channel, What Makes Us Fire. All one word, What Makes Us Fire podcast. You'll see the logo. We need subscribers. Don't forget to check out the website, WhatMakesUsFire.org. Don't forget to check out that website, because we have that big event coming up in November. I also want to let everybody know about the Great Londini meetup in San Antonio, Texas, happening October 15th. I was invited back again to be the master of ceremonies for that event. So if you want to come hang out with a bunch of amazing social media creators and come see me, check it out. That event is also at WhatMakesUsFire.org under the events tab. Anyway, much love to you guys. Stay safe. Remember, be the change you want to see in the world without allowing the world to dictate how you see that change happen. Just be the best version of yourself for yourself first, and I promise you, the world around you gets better. Much love. Stay safe. Catch you on the next one.